Yeah, and like to see, I mean, all those guys are still around, like still kicking ass in this industry, you know. Although I wish Jim Lee would draw a little more instead of running like DC, which is kind of falling apart, you know. Maybe we'll see him draw more because there's rumors that DC's like going away very soon.
Yeah, there's some.
I mean,
I don't think they're gonna go away as much as just reformat.
And that's what's gonna happen. I think they're not gonna get rid of the IPs. They're probably gonna license them out to other people.
Right.
The fact that they took comics off of the DC Comics brand, is kind of concerning, you know.
Now let me ask you guys a question. Who do you think should license or get that license? Who do you think is the right?
Get the license of DC stuff?
Who do you think is the right person to get those?
Right
those
person or right studio or
Paramount.
No, talking comic wise.
Oh, comics. I'm sorry. Like, got you. I thought you meant like if they're gonna license out their characters, like the way Marvel did to say.
Oh right, no.
Oh god, that's been a nightmare collecting them back since.
Yeah, I don't know if I would give it to like any of the Image guys.
I think Robert Kirkman will probably do a good job.
That would be an interesting choice. Yeah, definitely.
Comic creators who actually love the source, love the stuff, and they want to bring it back to where, because Kirkman's always done a great job.
Companies, I don't know who I would hand that to. Jeez, I don't know.
You never know. They might like reach their hand into like the indie press and look at like one of the mid-tier guys or something like that, or they could look at where some of the older guys ended up, and approach that. I wouldn't be surprised if something like AWA takes
about this. Frank Miller presents.
Yeah, that's another good choice.
Adam Warlock said Frank Miller presents.
Frank Miller presents. That's brilliant.
That would be interesting. AWA would be a good choice. Although the only thing I'd be worried about that is that's Axel Alonso, right?
Yeah.
The company.
Yeah.
So I'm like I would be concerned with that just going back to the norm of like because wasn't he used to be one of the head editors at DC or Marvel?
He was
years
Marvel,
ago,
I believe, wasn't he?
Yeah, right. And I figured if you hand it to him, it'll probably just go back to status quo. And almost like you want somebody to shake it up the way the Image guys did in the 90s, to like take like Batman and kind of breathe new life into it.
Well, look at Sean Gordon Murphy right now doing the White Knight series for Batman. Right. That thing has been just brilliant. Love it. It's beautiful book, beautiful story. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't mess with a lot of continuity. It just borrows and creates something new with it. It's just, I absolutely love those books right now.
The sad thing is it gets a little lost in all of the shuffle, though, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? There's so much stuff out, and it's like hard to stand out. Plus, you don't hear about like remember when like somebody big like that would do a comic and it would be huge news. And you don't even see that anymore. Like I went through my, like I still order comics through like DCBS, and I go through the Diamonds catalog, once a month now. And there's a book coming out written by Bruce Campbell, DC Comics. He's going to be doing Sergeant Rock fighting zombies.
Nice.
And I'm like, how is this not major news? And it's him and Gary Frank doing covers, and I think Eduardo Rizzo from 100 Bullets. I'm like, 10 years ago, this would be like the number one news on every comic website, and you don't even hear a peep about it. I mean, it's like Bruce Campbell, for God's sake, Well,
they're pushing the TV shows and the movies now. It's more marketable.
But isn't that crazy? Like, doesn't that sound like an amazing book?
Yeah.
Where's Bleeding Cool when you need them, right?
Yeah. Right. It's like I can't believe that has not made a big noise, at all in the industry. So,
and Bruce is a sellout show everywhere he goes. It's like impossible to get into see him. So there's a hunger to see him.
Like and write something like that. I think it'll be really interesting to see what he comes up with. Yep. Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, like Dr. Mass said, they have no idea what they're doing, and it's true. It's like it's like But it also could be that everything's failing. Like there's less readers now than there was before COVID. shops.
Well, they're loaded in a manga now. They're like that.
Yeah.
That is just eating up.
Oh
everything.
my God! Walk into a Barnes and Noble, and it's an eye opener now.
They really are crushing it right now.
And my local comic shop that I go to, I've been going there. It's been open since I was maybe 16.
Okay.
Probably before that too. So I've been seeing the gradual growth of the manga selection.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I go in there, there's a whole wall dedicated to just manga now.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
It was a pocket in the corner. I remember specifically, look at this manga. Oh, interesting. You know, and then I would just look through them and put it back in a little small corner. But now it's the whole wall.
I also feel like the common reader that may have once considered a comic book is more often than not like turning to like writers subreddits where they're pretty much getting it for free. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And things like that. So like there's so much that we have to combat. I mean, the scope of just solely the internet alone, where there's a lot to get for free, legally and illegally.
Right.
It's hard. It's so hard. Where before it's like, you couldn't rip a comic book to a digital file. You had to literally destroy the book and scan it page for page.
Yeah.
That wasn't conducive,
Yep.
If you think about it, all of that is stuff that we're combating with, and the big guys are learning how to use the smaller guys as tools and methods, and that kind of detracts from us too. When so I never thought I'd see an independent comic book hold a panel in Hall H in San Diego, and it did with Berserker this year.
Yeah,
so really,
it's also got Keanu Reeves behind it, so it's a little bit. It's a beefy
book. And an indie book has never been in Hall H until and I see that as kind of a breakthrough in one way, but I also see it as the larger entity, kind of like manipulating the smaller thing too.
Yeah. You don't need to rely on the big two to actually be big. You can be your own person.
Yeah, that's always a good thing, I guess, and like it highlights that comic, so which is actually pretty good. I don't know if you guys read it. I've been reading it. It's not bad.
I read the Don Shin spoof on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
That's pretty good too. I lettered that too, by the way. To pat myself on the back, But anyways, no, but it's true. Like that's just it's kind of scary right now for the big two, and that affects us all though. If DC kind of stops publishing, and if they don't license, they got to do something because.
Or it leaves a big hole for us to fill.
There you
big
go.
hole, but like they also have to. Like if they want to hold the rights to Wonder Woman, they have to be publishing stuff.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Like, because as soon as they stop publishing Wonder Woman, the rights revert back to the Moulton family, I believe. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious what they'll do there. Like, they'll definitely have to license out to somebody if they stop publishing. Or maybe they just go down to, like, the rumors were they would just have, like, a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman book, and that's it, But
they should go back to the Justice League cartoon and just go from that. Just publish cartoon series. That thing was. I just picked up a trade on it. It was like Justice League
about
Infinity.
Unlimited, right?
Yeah, but it was called Infinity now, and in the trade, and I love that book. Like I love the art.
That was is that the new one that DeMatteis did? DeMatteis?
I think so. I'd have to double check, but it's got all the art. It looks just like the TV show, and it's so much fun. That was awesome. A great series.
I picked up the ones that they did for Batman in the animated series.
Yeah.
And I love those.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird how they can't write like that. Like that, both Batman and Justice League cartoons are I would say exercises on how to write a proper comic. Like a proper superhero comic. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, even though
that's Dwayne, second... wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't that Dwayne?
Dwayne Duffy, yeah.
Yeah, he passed away, and that was like a huge loss. That man was just amazing at what he was doing, and it was a real shame.
He shined so well on those cartoons. Like we talked to him in New York, like a handful of years ago, and we just talked to him about Justice League, the whole time, and he was just talking about how it just, like he never made like he did make an impact in comics, but I thought his Justice League cartoon was even stronger impact.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
it's a great model. They should follow it and just stick to that. My God,
perfect. Like it was all one and dones with a little bit of a long running storyline, and it was perfect. Like the perfect way to write comics and action comics, you know, like that. Yeah.
So even like creating Static Shock, like if you look at that, like the cover of that book, it was just so like prolific. The same way like we were just talking about Spawn #1. You know, it was one of those things where you saw it in the shelf, you're like, oh damn, this looks really cool. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Dr. Mass said, I witnessed the destruction of Batman at DC. This coming from a lifelong comic and Batman fan. I may never buy another new DC comic.
Wow.
Dude, I can't blame you. I mean, they're not putting out good stuff right now. Neither is Marvel, to be fair, though, too, you know?
Or even the good stuff that they are putting out, they're not paying enough attention to. Like, you know, like
yeah, or it's lost in the shuffle. Yeah.
Right. Like, so, like what Jared was saying about White Knight, or, you know, I think some of the DC Black Label stuff has been really good.
Yep.
Wonder Woman book they did. I liked Batman Damned. You know, there is some good stuff there. Just kind of lost.
Yeah, it's also weird too. I never thought I'd be the guy that'd be like, oh, you know, comics were better when I was younger. You know, because I used to hear that all the time when I was working at the comic store and stuff. And I was like, what are these people talking about? These comics are great, you know. Yeah. And now I am that guy, you know.
Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleash!